Good morning, everybody. This is Justin with the Fight of Faith, and I just want to do a little review for UFC Fight Night. I watched it last night, and right now is January 20th, 2019, and it's the day after of the first fight on ESPN Plus, the new streaming service for ESPN. So I love the app. I watched the fight on the app, and everything looked pretty crystal clear, and I'm really impressed with it because I actually wasn't really wanting to watch it on the app. But me recently, I got rid of my cable television and just strictly do streaming now. It's just, I find it as a better product and a cheaper product, so it makes sense. But as far as the fights go, I was super impressed because it kind of reminded me of when they had the premiere of UFC on Fox, right before they had UFC Fight Pass and all that. That's when Kane knocked out Junior Dos Santos. Or no, it was opposite around. Junior Dos Santos dropped Kane in the first round, and that was a very solidifying thing for UFC on Fox. Now, last night, Henry Cejudo did the same exact thing. Finished TJ Dillashaw in about 30 seconds. And some argue that it was an early stoppage. Some argue that TJ was still conscious and fighting. But it seemed like he was trying to scramble. There was a lot of scrambling going on because obviously they're both well-decorated wrestlers. But Henry's the more knowledgeable wrestler. Henry has a gold medal from the Olympics in wrestling, and I knew he was going to be the stronger fighter. But TJ is one of the best in the world. And when my nephew asked me, who do you take? Who do you think is going to win? I couldn't think of it. I wasn't too sure. But overall, the fights are great. I was bummed out to see Yancy and Rachael Ostovich lose, both from Waianae and Oahu. But, we keep our head high. It was good fights. I know Rachael is not going to go away anytime soon. She's a star and a future star. Yancy is a vet training partner with Max Holloway. He's not going anywhere. But to see them lose, small bummer. But overall, another thing to mention with the card is Greg Hardy. He had a lot of controversy attached to his name with domestic violence and whatnot, and people try to make a big deal about him being on the same card as Rachael Ostovich, who actually has had some drama as of late, and kind of a sad story of getting hurt by her husband. Apparently they're getting a divorce now, but there was some case of domestic violence, and unfortunately, which is kind of common, in Hawaii, from where I'm from. So I can't respect a man that puts his hand on another woman for any reason, and I know that Rachel's a good fighter, but for her to get cracked ribs and bust up eye and all that stuff, to have to be hospitalized, that's no good. So I don't believe that her husband getting, what was it? It wasn't even assault. They wanted, he got it for assault. It's set for attempted murder, which it sounded like. So she was going through a lot, enough to say. She was going through a lot, and people tried to make the connection with domestic violence overall with Greg Hardy, and why would they put them on the same card? But in actuality, it wasn't that big of a deal. They both mutually had a conversation, actually saying, let's turn this thing into a positive thing. And poor thing for Greg Hardy, man. He's actually a knockout artist, and I think he was gonna knock out that guy he was fighting, but he just kind of jumped the gun too quick and did an illegal knee before the guy actually stood up and got himself disqualified on his UFC debut. right? And I believe he was on the Contender Series, so he was working his way up. He stepped into the octagon for the first time officially on ESPN Plus Fight Night, and that's how he made his debut. So it was a real bummer to see that. But I don't think he's going away. He's a good fighter, and seems like a good guy. He looks a little crazy in the ring, but nevertheless, he's a good fighter, and I enjoyed watching him. So I'm a fan. So overall, the biggest fight of the night obviously was TJ versus Henry, and I had that feeling. That the fight wasn't going to last too long because Henry is very small but strong. They both weighed in under 125 pounds. I think they were both 124 point something. So they were definitely well trained and well nourished as far as nutrition goes. TJ had a very impressive weight cut. He seemed like a natural flyweight, but there is a point to say that possibly why he got knocked out so easily is because he was so dehydrated from the weight cut. So I thought he looked small at 135, let alone him doing this at 125. So, it ended in about 30 seconds, 32 seconds, or whatever you have. But at the end of the day, Henry was clobbering TJ pretty bad. And Dana thinks it's an early stoppage. TJ definitely thinks it's an early stoppage. He, a matter of fact, said he doesn't want that ref to ever referee any of his fights ever again. But I think it was a smart stoppage. It was a little early, but it was inevitable. I feel that Henry was too strong, too heavy to allow that to continue, or TJ would have gotten even more damage, and nobody really wants to see that happen to a champion, right? So I think it was wise, even though that may not be the popular opinion. There were some boos mixed with cheers that night, but it was a beautiful night. To hear Henry roar like that at the top of the ring when he beat TJ is amazing, and I love moments like that. I enjoyed watching that, and that's my review of UFC Fight Night on the ESPN Plus. I'm thinking about getting UFC Fight Pass again. I never used it. I canceled my subscription because I never used it. I mean, I should, because I always watch the pay-per-views with my buddies and whatnot when I can, but I really like how the ESPN app works, and it looked like 4K quality, honestly, because I have an iPhone X. It's a really nice app. I look forward to watching more fights on ESPN, and I think they made the right move getting away from Fox, and I really like where the company is headed. And speaking of fights and everything, I also want to give an update about my health. And I lost a little weight, got a little chub off my face and my body, but I actually have been working so much that I was actually supposed to post a new episode with my buddies Henry and sorry, it's early and I have a brain fart. With Henry and, oh God, he's gonna hate me for this. It's not Joshua. Oh my goodness, I forgot the guy's name. Sorry. I woke up at 4 a.m. Don't be mad at me, dude. Jordan, because I wanted to say Joshua, but I know that's not your name. I'm sorry. I'm tired, bro. Hopefully he doesn't see that. But anyway, yes, Jordan and Henry were supposed to be on the new episode of The Fight of Faith, but there was mistakes on my part about the recording, and my mic sounded really bad. And so we're going to redo it. We're going to redo the episode. We don't want to release crappy quality of an episode for you guys. And you know what? I told them that I want to do one-on-one. It was a little bit too much because we have about a 45-minute limit for the podcast, just for the level of tier that I pay for. And yeah, so I'm going to do one-on-one with Henry. dig deep into his story and into his past, see what we can get out of that. And also for the same thing for Jordan. He's been going through some stuff right now with family, and so I want him to focus on his story as well. You know, when there's three guys on a podcast, it's more to hang out other than to get deep, and I want you guys to hear their stories, so possibly that you can understand where they're coming from and probably can relate to what they've been through. So I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna post this episode because I really like the step that they're taking with the UFC. You know, I'm a fan of Rachel's. God bless you guys. I'm a fan of Yancy and all them. Shout out to Jesus is Lord Jim. One day I would love to visit you guys. I messaged Robbie and Rachel's father on Instagram. So shout out to you guys. Hopefully next time you guys come in Vegas, it'll be great to have you on the podcast. I'll have a whole thing set up at the church, and probably you guys can come check out the church. It'll be great to do worship with you guys on a Sunday morning. But back to my weight loss journey. You know, I was getting pretty heavy, man. Honestly, I was probably 280, you know, about a month or so ago. Probably, actually for a few months ago, I was getting really heavy. Like, I think I passed 280, getting near 300 pounds. And I actually hated myself, like looking at myself in the mirror, or looking at myself when I would see a video of me. I'd be like, ugh, you know, like, get it together, bro, right? So, and I went running pretty consistently, actually, for a few weeks, like 3-4 times a week for 2-3 weeks. I stuck with it, but then work got really, really busy, and I work conventions in Las Vegas. I do deliveries. So I get up before the sun, and I come home around dinner time, and all you have to do with the kids, help the wifey out with stuff, eat, sleep, and you do it all over again. So I had to find the right solution that fits my situation, and running every day was just not feasible. And I love to run, honestly, but I realized my problem. I've been watching Hodge twins for forever now, for years. I'm not going to recommend you listen to them because they're not the most Christian people. They claim to be Christians, but, you know, very vulgar, very don't watch them. But they have a few channels, and they're known for their comedy, for their fitness, whatever. But they do intermittent fasting every day, and they're able to eat whatever they want and still stay really lean and ripped. Now, I'm not ripped or lean, nor do I ever want to be, but it's been super beneficial for my weight loss. I am now probably 265. You know, at the end of the day, if I eat a lot, whatever, fully clothed with heavy boots, I'm like 270 something, 270. So I've lost a little weight, still on the heavy side, but I feel so good though when I do it. I literally have a huge jug of water, right? And I have a big cup of coffee, make an Americano, or I make myself a Keurig coffee, fill it all the way up with the rest with water, and I'm good. That curbs my appetite to the point where I'm not hungry. Honestly, like, I'm not starving myself. And if I do get a little hungry, I drink more water. Honestly, because I'm not starving myself. I'm putting off my meal. And because when I come home, I tear it up. I eat because it makes me, for intermittent fasting, I feel better. I really do throughout the day, because what I used to do, especially, this is what I do for a living. What I'm doing right now, I'm sitting down in a truck, and when I'm working, I'm doing this, right? Not very physically active. So I would be eating 3 to 4 meals a day just because it tastes good and it feels good. So, but that is way over my caloric necessity, right? Like, I don't need that much food to live. Like, the reason why we're supposed to eat is to, yeah, enjoy what it tastes like, and it makes life good. I love food. It's great. But it's fuel, right? And I'm topping off my fuel when I'm just driving around the block. You know what I mean? And I was overeating, really. And actually, now that I only have one meal a day, I only eat at night when I come home from work, and my appetite has gone down. So I can't even eat that much anymore. So you would figure like, hey man, you're a big guy, don't make it as an excuse to go stuff your face when I go home. I try. I honestly do. When I go home, I try to eat as much as I can. I can't eat as much as I used to, which is a good thing because I used to eat a lot. I'm not going home eating 2-3 plates of to make up for what I didn't eat all day. No, like the Americanos and the water, and you know, like I said, it really curbs my appetite. Now, when I'm working hard and I'm hustling and bustling, and I need some substance, I get those Premier Protein from Costco or Sam's Club, whatever. It tastes really good. It's 30 grams of protein. It's vanilla. It's one of the best tasting proteins I ever had, because I've had some bad proteins in my day. This thing tastes pretty good, and it comes a little thing like that. Unscrew it, drink it, and it curbs my appetite. And now I think that's like 200 calories or 180 calories or something like that. But it's very nutritious for you. It has vitamins. It's not a solid food. Now, it may be cheating because it's not necessarily fasting if I take a protein shake in. But you know what? I was fat, and it's working. So I'm losing weight, buddy. You know what I mean? Like, get off my back. I'm very happy about it because it makes you enjoy food better. You know, like, you don't just eat whatever you want when you feel like it. It's like, no, I'm going to discipline myself. I feel better. I have no crashes anymore. Like Hawaiians, we call it the Kanak attack, right? We get Hawaiian paralysis. And we just, whenever we're done eating, like, oh, bro, like, take one nap, right? But I can't do that when I'm always working. I can't always want to be tired and fall asleep. The only reason I'm tired right now because I woke up at 4 in the morning. Actually 3:30, and I left the house at 4 something, right? So I have early days. So, just food for thought. If you guys are trying to lose some weight, I really recommend it, because it's even better if you have the one meal a day and it's a keto meal or like a paleo meal, right? You don't have no rice and no starch, no noodles, no bread, whatever. If you have that one meal a day, and it's a good portion meal, don't be shy. But by the time you get into a habit of doing this for a few weeks, like I have, you're not hungry all the time, because your body is getting used to having that one meal a day. And I really curve my appetite with this. I really curve my cravings. I'm not like a pregnant lady, like, man, I want a burger so bad, or like, I want this, I want that. Because when you fast, it really promotes good hormone growth, especially if you eat carbs and fats. That's a good thing, to eat some fries every once in a while, to have rice, to have bread. People have been living on carbs for thousands of years. So why is it bad now, right? Because it's the industrialization of sugar is what the problem is, I guess. Because we created an epidemic with high corn fructose syrup, whatever, you know the story. And Americans are all addicted to sugar. So that's why we are necessarily dealing with the keto solution nowadays. But if you're fasting, every once in a while you're going to need some carbs. It promotes your hormone growth, and it's good for you, especially if you're having one meal a day worth 2,000 calories at one sitting. That's not a lot of calories, man, because on my body index calculations that you go on websites, whatever, if I don't want to gain weight, I'm supposed to eat like 25 to 2,700 calories a day for me to just maintain. So if I eat under that, I'm going to lose weight. Well, guess what? I am. And 2,000 calories in one sitting is a lot, right? Because the coffee is 0 calories. The water I drink all day is 0 calories. And the protein shake, if I must have it and I'm like starving and I'm like trying to make it through the day, that's only 200 calories. So I'm going into dinner with 1,800 calories left on my deficit or whatever, on my calorie count for the day. You're good, man. And you're not even going to eat that much. Like when you sit down, you're probably going to have 1,000 or 1,500. So it works, man. I'm going to continue doing this because I like the results. I feel like I've lost weight. I feel better. I'm a little bit more confident. And when I lose weight and I get more confident, I want to get back more into kickboxing. You know, like I box and stuff every once in a while with my friend Sammy, and it's been great. And hopefully I can get back into kickboxing shape, right? So that's been my review of fasting and UFC on ESPN Plus. And yeah, so I appreciate you guys, and thank you for listening and watching The Fight of Faith. And we're gonna have Henry and Jordan on soon, so stay tuned for those next episodes, and remember to keep fighting the good fight of faith. Take care.